One. All right, we are live.
How's it going?
We got Dean in the building. Well, not actually in the building. He's in Zoom.
I'm a little far away, but we're good.
And we're going to be talking some sports today. Pacific Sports Talk Radio.
Yes, sir.
All right. And it looks like we're live. Okay, so getting into some NBA first things first. We got Warriors Celtics recap. And I know you watched that game, Dean. Let's hear some of your thoughts and let's get that rolling.
Well, it's the same old story, with the Warriors go with Kelly Oubre, man. He was looking hot, out of the gate. He started off, I think he made his first 3 or 4 shots. He was moving around, playing good defense. And then, God, he picks up fouls. He's too aggressive, man. He's too much of a dog. And then losing, the Warriors losing Looney, that was huge with Wiseman out.
Oh, yeah.
They there's, nothing more frustrating than watching a team that you like, and they can't, and they give up a shit ton of offensive boards. It's, the most infuriating thing ever, because they're basically just getting punked. They basically got punked the whole time. They got out-rebounded by 20, I think, or something.
And yet they're still in the game for probably about 85 to 90%.
Well, it's because of Chef Curry, man. Chef Curry.
Chef Curry did have it cooking. Did he make 7 threes last night, or did he make more?
He's 7 for 12, I believe.
7 for 12, man.
Yeah.
That's a pretty solid night. Yeah, and ultimately they only lost by 4 points. So
they outplayed the Celtics. Besides the rebounding.
And they were missing. Okay, no, Eric Pascal played, but he was on limited minutes.
Oh, was he? Yeah, he didn't play that much.
He was coming off an injury.
He's going to be playing a lot now, man. They have no one big. Looney's out. Wiseman's out. Do they have anyone over the Warriors post game? Do they have anyone over 6'8"?
Kelly Oubre's got a 7'1" wingspan, so I mean that counts, right?
Yeah, but I'm talking vertical and not horizontal.
About height. Yeah, they're kind of lackluster.
Yeah, what did you think of Juan Toscano Anderson last night getting the start?
I thought the kid played pretty well, and he was scrappy on defense. He almost came away with that ball late in the game in the fourth quarter that could have really turned things around, and unfortunately it looked like he twisted up his elbow there when he was fighting Jason Tatum for the ball.
Yeah, he wasn't on the injury report.
That was good to see. Yeah, he's a fucking dog, man. He grinds out there.
Yeah, well, man, he's from Oakland,
Hey, you got to bring out the locals when you can,
Yeah.
Oakland forever.
I'm not going to take Rodney Magruder's shit last game. But, man, Tatum, yeah, Jalen and Tatum are just amazing. I love the combo of the Celtics, to be honest with you. It hurts them not having Smart, but those two are beasts,
Oh, definitely.
Jalen's, man, he's come into his own. He went to Cal, man. Berkeley represent.
Yeah, I'd actually think that that duo's got a lot of potential in coming years.
And they're so young,
definitely.
It's insane. Yeah.
And Jaylen Brown's really coming into his own, so good things coming out of Celtic Nation.
Man, you could really also, talk about Tatum, you could really see Tatum's got the Kobe, fadeaway, mid-range, because he worked out with Kobe a lot. You could see it a lot. Man, he just buries those daggers, the turnarounds.
Yeah,
he's really skilled.
He really doesn't miss those, and he's hitting the clutch shots when he needs to, so definitely a player you can count on. Yeah. Transitioning here into the Trailblazers versus Wizards. It was a high-scoring game. Damian Lillard has been playing pretty well without his co-stars, dropping 32 points, 4 of 14 from 3, but also going 10 of 10 from the line. They got Robert Covington back, so that was pretty huge, I guess. And then taking down the Wizards, who just beat the Nets, is I don't know really what to make of that Wizards team, to be honest. they're kind of hard to read.
I feel like I don't know. The Wizards they're still one of the worst teams in the East. They have so many flaws. Like, it's insane. They have so many flaws. I think that game against the Nets was kind of just like a Russell Westbrook like spike game.
Definitely.
Like, I want KD, man. I want KD. That's what that was about.
I mean,
you know?
can you think of a more petty player in the league that just has a
Chris
fucking...
Paul.
Okay, Chris Paul is in that category.
Chris Paul's number one.
Chris Paul is
definitely.
But
Westbrook's there. No doubt.
So talking about Chris Paul, the Suns, they didn't play yesterday. They played 2 nights ago, and Chris Paul handed that ball off to Devin Booker, who came back from missing several games, hitting that game winner. That was pretty huge.
The Suns, they have such a deep roster. Like, they have like 9 dudes out there. They're kind of like them and the Jazz, I think, in the West have the most deep rosters. Like, I wouldn't want to play the Suns in the playoffs once they start, getting chemistry with Chris Paul. Like, they're a scary team. They're long. They're great defensively. They can shoot threes. DeAndre Ayton can beat you up in the post. I really like the Suns.
They're definitely set up for some success this year. I could see them making the playoffs for sure, maybe 5th or 4th seed, depending on how they click.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be surprised. I wouldn't be surprised.
I could totally see that, definitely. And Devin Booker, man, he's like he's getting close to the superstar level, Like, he's very close to that,
Yeah. He's definitely top 15 for sure.
Oh, yeah, no doubt.
Like, no question.
Yeah.
And then, whether or not he's top 10, that's like, we'll see how he plays this year, and he could really prove himself.
Yeah, definitely.
All right, so
if he facilitates more, I think he needs to facilitate a little more. But
Definitely. So one more recap from the West Coast games. The Nets played the Clippers. It was definitely a shootout, 120 to 124.
Game. Wild game.
I know you caught some of that action. Kawhi Leonard dropped 33 points, and then his co-star Paul George hit 26 points and was pretty efficient, 11 to 24 from the field. Couldn't get the job done in the clutch, though, man. They lost.
Playoff P, man. Playoff P.
Couldn't get it done, man.
You got to admit, though, Paul George has come out of the gate, like, trying to prove some shit, man. Like, it's pretty wild. No, but he's, like, playing on, like if Kawhi Leonard and Paul George weren't on the same team, like, they would both totally be an MVP conversation. Like, you add, like, a few more points onto their totals that they take from each other, It's Paul George has been impressing me, but we all know, like, I used to love Paul George, but I can't trust him in the playoffs. He's probably going to collapse on Kawhi, It's probably going to happen, but this is early in the season. Kawhi's a goddamn killer, He didn't shoot well from 3, but this last game, but he's been shooting over 40%, I think, this year, which is insane. Like that's the only thing Kawhi's missing in his game, a consistent 3-point shot.
Yeah. I think Kawhi was 1 of 5 from 3, so you're definitely on the money there.
Yeah.
James Harden made a great play at the end of the game. He threw like a touchdown pass, as they were saying it on Bleacher Report and a lot of other sports content sites. He just chucked it down and hit the open man. Easy 2 points, and it put them up, I think, enough for them to hold him off at the end of the game. Did you see that?
Yeah, no, I totally did.
Yeah,
James, doesn't he look so happy out there, man?
Dude, it's
not
crazy.
All spiteful and so joyful, a jolly old man.
He's definitely he definitely looks like a kid out there.
Yeah, he's definitely. Yeah, the Nets are dangerous.
They're definitely dangerous offensively. I don't know how well they can hold their own on defense. That's going to really be
I forget what I saw it on. Maybe it was The Jump or something.
Clippers were missing Pat Beverly, and that's kind of a big deal in my opinion.
Yeah, no, of course, but to your point though, they're the best offensive team and the worst defensive team in the league. The Nets, statistically,
they're literally just like a glass cannon.
That's insane. Like how?
That's so volatile. It's ridiculous.
It's I'm telling you, like, losing Jared Allen is huge. Jared Allen has such a bright future, man. He could be an all-star someday. Like, the center, oh my God, DeAndre he just doesn't look athletic out there. He looks tired.
Well, he's an old man, Dean. So
he's dragging.
He's an old man, so you shouldn't really expect too much.
I know, but like,
he's an old man. So what do you expect, right?
I think he's overpaid. I don't think he was worth that contract they paid him.
No, but I mean, if you look at
KD did it. I mean, he forced his way.
I mean, look at players who are dominant in the paint that get paid in New York. I mean, look at Amari Stoudemire did it. It's not a difficult thing to do, and it's not new.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
New York loves some fucking paint. Some glory days.
Some poster man. Some post. Yeah, no, I got you. Yeah. Without and when DeAndre is off the floor, they're just so like none of them can guard. Joe Harris can't guard. I mean, Harden's been giving me more flashes than the rest of them, but I mean KD tries, but he doesn't. I don't see that same like defensive like blocking all the time like when he was on the Warriors, like just like really locking in defensively. I mean he's locked in defensively. Don't get me wrong, but not as so like a little drop off in his defensive game.
Oh, definitely.
But that comes probably with playing with Kyrie Irving, So.
And he definitely peaked early on in his career. He's 32 years old right now, so he's not that old. But I feel like we saw most of his dominant performances come in like 2012 through like 2015. Who? DeAndre Jordan.
Oh, talking about DeAndre. Yeah, no. DeAndre, he's a shell of himself right now. Yeah. Completely. Yeah.
So we'll get into some previews. There's already a few games on right now, so we don't really have to talk too much about those. The Clippers are playing the Cavs. We can just quickly go over that. They're playing right now. They're already up by 7 points at the point of this podcast.
The Clippers, how much time is left?
It's the first quarter. It just started.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Is Beverly still out? Because then Colin Sexton's going to fucking eat, man.
Yeah, I think Beverly's going to be out for a little while. I don't know the injury.
Oh, he's out for a while?
I mean, he's been out for a few games now, so I'm not assuming he's coming anytime soon.
Maybe. Yeah, talking about Jared Allen and Colin Sexton, I saw one of their games that they played. They have, like, I don't know. I mean, you can't say they have chemistry because they just started, but they look good together. Sexton was throwing some lobs,
Yeah, I like Sexton's a beast, man. Alabama.
Yeah, roll tide. But I think the Cavs. I don't think they're going to let the Clippers walk all over them. The Clippers will win, but the Cavs will give them a tough fight.
Yeah, I would expect the same. And then another matchup to go over is tonight. The Suns play against the Pelicans.
Ooh.
If I were a betting man, I would probably go on the over, as these two young teams tend to score a lot, tend to be fast-paced.
They're both in the top 8, I think, in pace.
Score.
Oh, well, just pace. They're high in scoring, too, but yeah.
Yep. And then the Suns have D-Book back, so maybe he could keep things rolling after we just talked about his game-winning shot he hit.
Yeah, the Pelicans are just totally underachieving right now. I mean, Zion looks good out there, but I don't know, man. I feel like Van Gundy's like in the past, like just like that old school '90s type of basketball. Like I don't know. I mean, they are playing with pace, but I don't like their defense. It's terrible. They've definitely taken a step back from last year.
No doubt.
Yeah.
I was fixing my shirt there.
Oh, no worries.
Yeah, I feel like they have so much talent on that team. I think
they do.
If they get the right coach, or the right system, or something needs to click.
I thought Van Gundy was such a wacky hire. Like, why? Like
because his brother's on TV. Maybe I don't know.
Oh, I don't know. Yeah, maybe he's got like an in.
He definitely has an in. There's no doubt. Van Gundy's and basketball are well connected.
I know that. It made no sense to hire. I just didn't understand it at all.
All right, so anyways, the Suns, Pelicans, I would expect a big game from D-Book and company, and I would probably take the Suns.
Chris Paul's been on fire. He's
Chris Paul's
He's
assists.
been killing it.
He's like been a guy that can get you like 8 or 9 assists a night since he stepped into the league, which is honestly incredible.
Yeah.
Points God.
I saw on I forget. I think it was ESPN. He's averaging 11 for his career, and only ridiculous. Stock and I forget the other guy. Stock and someone else has done that, but
I don't even think Steve Nash is in there. I think it's
no, it wasn't Steve Nash. I don't know who the third person was, but that's insane.
Was it Pistol Pete? Was it Pistol Pete?
Maravich? That might be it.
I don't think it's Jason Kidd or Nash because I think they're like 9 assists.
No. This is north of 10 for a career. That's insane. Like,
no, it's ridiculous. And then the Celtics are playing the Kings tonight.
You see Halliburton won Western Rookie of the Month?
You talked about him last podcast.
I told you, dude's a stud, man. Dude's a stud. He's been dropping threes. He must have close to a 7-foot wingspan. He's crazy good defender. I think the Kings got him at 7 or 8. Like, I don't know how he drops. Like,
the Kings are known to squander talent, so let's see what they do with it.
Yeah, I saw on Twitter a bunch of people, because they're like the A's. Not to, we like the A's on this channel, but
we like the Kings as well.
Yes, exactly. We like the Kings too, but you know how they just raise them up and then they lose them. 4 or 5 years, they're just gone. Someone else pays them a bunch of money, and they're out of that small market.
And they've had a lot of like really talented players, like Tyreek Evans, DeMarcus Cousins,
Boogie,
Isaiah Thomas. A lot of players have come out of there,
and
had successful NBA careers.
I think Halliburton's gone in 3 years.
So Kemba, dude, I hope the Kings can pull together a playoff.
I want the Kings to be good. Like
I would love for them to make the playoffs, man.
I love De'Aaron Fox. They have some players. Bagley. He's slow right now in his development, but Bagley he was a top pick out of Duke, the center. They have some good young players. They're just like in a developmental phase, and I think, ownership and management just, the Kings never like give them time, a time to like just like get like how the Niners gave Shanahan and Lynch like a few years. Like you just got to give them some time. They get too impatient, That's what the Kings do, and then they fuck it up. Like,
and they got talent, and
in 2 years they'll be good, man. They'll be good.
I would expect De'Aaron Fox to go off tonight with Kemba. I mean, Kemba Walker's out, Marcus Smart's out, so at the point guard position.
Oh, Kemba's out? Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, they don't really have a lot of guards available tonight. Actually, four of the Celtics point guard or shooting guards are out. Kemba Walker, Smart, Pritchard, and Langford are all.
Oh, because. Is Kemba coming back off of an injury?
He's
not
doing
playing.
Rest.
He's not doing back-to-backs. Yeah. Got it.
So the Kings, I don't know. It's going to be up to the two boys that we were talking about earlier in the podcast to take on. This.
I could see the Kings winning.
It's a streaky. They're a streaky team, and
they had to they just played the Celtics. Just played the Warriors. I mean, they're time acclimated now, but they had to take a bus ride up to Sacramento. I think the Kings can steal that game.
Don't sleep on the Kings by no means.
I would not be surprised if the Kings stole the game tonight.
And are we going to be expecting like a savage social media post on the behalf of the Sacramento Kings if there's a Celtics upset?
Oh, they're going to roast them, man.
If you guys are active on social media, the Kings have one of the most savage accounts run by maybe like a 19-year-old.
I shit you not. An 18 or 19-year-old runs the Kings Twitter account. Their actual Twitter.
We actually got our fair share on Twitter.
Oh yeah, I've been talking this guy up. But definitely a troll in charge of the ship. Like I don't know how this kid got that job, and he's a kid. There's no way he's old. Like,
dude,
pick him out. He's funny.
You got to be careful, man. Maybe another team might steal him.
God, the freedom that guy has. Imagine just controlling an NBA team. Of course, Sacramento. Oh, Sacktown.
Gotta respect, man.
Good times. Oh, I respect him.
All right, so that's about it for the NBA. Unless there's anything else you wanted to get into.
No, that was about it. Oh, I would like to say, so we didn't really talk about the Trailblazers as much. I just want to say I've been super impressed with what Dame's been able to do without McCollum.
Definitely.
He's Dame time, man. He's been on fire. I wanted to shout out. We like the Blazers on this channel too, and I just wanted to say that he's been killing it lately.
Yeah, and he definitely got some support from his cast there. All 5 starters had at least 14 points.
Mm-hmm.
Trent had 26, Lillard 32, and Covington, no slouch, 5 of 8 from 3, and he had 19. So big wins.
I love Covington. Covington's a really solid player.
I mean, I was kind of interested in getting him from the Warriors' perspective.
Oh, he's like he's a 3-and-D guy. He's literally like the perfect playoff player that you need to get yourself over the hump.
Of 3-and-D.
Oh yeah, like one of the best in the league, like probably top 5. Like,
and for those of you who don't know what that means, it's pretty self-explanatory. But 3-and-D is shooting threes and getting back and playing hard defense.
Playing some hard-ass defense.
That's what your capabilities.
Taking on the best scorers of the other team. Yeah. Anyways, that's all I had to say about Dame. So.
All right, man. Well, it looks like we're going to be getting into a pretty big topic that happened right after the podcast.
I'm stoked.
You're talking about some Matt Stafford here.
Matthew Stafford.
Criticize me? Like,
hell yeah.
Bro, you a joke, so you setting a bad example.
So,
hell yeah.
Yeah, so we'll be talking about Matt Stafford going to the Rams. What do you think? First thoughts on that?
I've been waiting to talk about this for like a while.
We haven't talked at all about it.
We haven't talked about this at all. We've been waiting for this. So let's start off from the actual trade, right? So they traded. So the Rams gave up 2 firsts, 2 seconds, and Goff. That's what they gave up, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what it was. So what do you think? Give me a letter grade, Brady. Give me a letter grade for the Rams side. Let's start off with the Rams.
The Rams.
You had to give them a grade.
They gave up a lot, in my opinion, and it
use minuses and pluses too.
Yeah. For me to give them a letter grade, it's kind of weird because I kind of include the trade that they made in the previous years to get other players and give up first rounders.
No. We'll talk about that after.
All right. Just a letter grade on.
We'll get into that. Believe me.
What they gave up and what they got. Just that.
Yes, just that.
Okay. I'll give them like a C plus.
Okay.
Where are you at?
So you're actually in between. Well, so I've been seeing a lot. They either people really like this trade or people hated this trade. You're like in between. There aren't that many of you.
No.
I'd say I'm in between. I'd give them a B. I was thinking B minus. No, I'll give them a B. This is why. Okay. I think the Rams, with all the talent they have and with the contracts that they have, like might as well just push all your chips in, Definitely. To say what you said, so they had to trade up to get Goff, right? So they drafted Goff in 2016, right?
Yeah.
They haven't had a first round pick since then. No. And now they're not going to have another first round pick until 2024. So
that's almost a decade, by the way.
That's insane. That's 8 years, right?
That's about as close as you can get to a decade.
But I just think, like, at the time, I didn't understand why they got Jalen Ramsey. They needed offensive line, and then their offensive line got healthy last year. I didn't know they disliked Goff that much, but I don't like Goff that much at all. Like, I think he's kind of, like, soft. I don't think he challenges. I don't think he pushes the ball downfield well. I think that was their main problem. He's good at throwing the short routes, But, man, he's throwing to Robert Woods on the outside. Like, he missed him a bunch of times, and he made some stupid turnovers. I I like it because I feel like with what the Rams already did to give up until now all their first round picks, like you might as well just go for it. Like, if what were they going to do? Just keep going with Goff? They'd probably have to rebuild anyways in a couple years because they like all the picks they gave up in the last 6, right? Like,
yeah.
So I think from the outside in, like, I think it's they gave up a lot. They gave up too much. Stafford wasn't worth that much. Stafford was worth, I think, a first rounder, a second, and maybe a player or something, like at the most.
But
that was ridiculous.
But if you look at it in the way that you just kind of brought up, they're not going to have a first round pick for a while anyway.
Yeah.
So they're going to actually be in a lot of trouble in the future anyway.
Exactly.
Might as well put yourself in a position to win now.
Yeah. Yeah.
And if
they're just pushing their problems
and
down
if
the
you
road.
think that the reason why you can't win is because of Goff, which is kind of what
why not?
Yeah, I mean they've always felt that way, right?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Well, no, they haven't always felt that way.
I mean,
last
by always,
season,
I mean I think since they lost the Super Bowl, they felt that way.
Yeah.
Like the season after they took a back seat to the Niners and the Seahawks. Yeah.
McVay, though, it wasn't until this year that McVay called out Goff. Like, in the past, he's always like, we got to do a better job protecting the quarterback. And
well, do you want to hear a hot take?
Go ahead. Sure. I'd love to hear one.
If the Niners stick with Jimmy G and they don't make any noise, maybe they make the playoffs and they do the same thing that Jared Goff does and loses in the divisional round.
Mm-hmm.
If the Niners make the playoffs, lose in the divisional round, their team's healthy, you're in the same spot Jared Goff was in 2 years before after he had missed the Super Bowl, and then he makes the playoffs, doesn't do anything. You get what I'm trying to say is, like, do you think Jimmy Garoppolo would be in that same position?
You're talking. Did you listen to Coward?
I didn't listen at all to Coward. I'm just saying.
That's Coward's. Coward said something like that.
I'm saying
no, I know exactly what you're saying. This is what you're saying. You're saying, are the Niners going to be suddenly in the same spot
that the Rams
maybe
were in?
Maybe not financially.
Not the same position, but a similar quarterback situation.
You're fucked on the quarterback position. Yeah. No, easily. Like, what I heard Colin Coward saying today was, some people, like, the problem with Jimmy is that his trade value is so low. So it's like, what do they do, right? I don't even know if they get a third round. Maybe they get a third rounder for him. Like,
it's crazy. It's crazy, like, how, like, much a quarterback can be worth. And then and in the top 10, and then you drop down to, like, Garoppolo, wherever he is, somewhere in the top 20, let's just say.
12 to 18 is just such a clusterfuck.
It's like they're not really that. They're not that valuable. They're not as valuable as you think. But then you talk about Deshaun Watson, one of the best in the league, and the Texans want like 3 first-round picks, and like 2 defensive players. Like they want all these different things that is pretty much an arm and a leg to most NFL franchises.
Yeah. We kind of went on a tangent to the Niners.
And that's fine. That's fine.
Yeah.
Another thing to say is, how would you rank the NL West, or not the NL West, the NFC West's quarterbacks right now? I have a pretty good idea.
Oh, Russ, Kyler, Stafford, Jimmy.
And it's not even close. That's the only way you can rank those.
I've heard some other people put Stafford ahead of Kyler, and I think that's just the most ludicrous thing I've ever heard in my life.
But as a Stafford, like, if you're following Stafford, this is kind of an exciting moment for him because he's finally getting a chance to prove that, these stats that he's been able to put up for 10 plus years, they could mean something now.
Yeah. It's just interesting how people are talking about 32-year-old Matt Stafford. He's turning 33, by the way, in a month.
But, I mean, what is age, man? One of the quarterbacks in the Super Bowl this year is 10 years older than that.
I know.
Talking about Aaron Rodgers, too, man.
I know. A lot of Stafford's game, though, is predicated on his long ball. And some people lose their arm, and some people don't.
Definitely.
Peyton was really old. Granted, way older than Matt Stafford.
Neck
but
surgery was kind of
he
costly
lost.
for him.
Yeah, I know, but he literally lost his. But some quarterbacks lose their ability to throw it deep accurately.
Drew Brees is a good example of that.
Did Drew Brees ever really throw the ball that far?
I mean, looking back at the days when he was throwing bombs to Marquise Colston and the
2010 Super Bowl.
Yeah, I think he did back in the day.
Or was
he could huck it when he needed to.
Yeah, but he was never a deep thrower.
He was always an accurate guy. You're right.
He's an accurate. Quarterbacks fit into different categories. He was in the accuracy club.
Yeah.
Stafford's in the bomb club. Like, he hits guys deep on deep bombs.
And then where would you put Jared Goff?
What do you mean?
So you just said there's accurate club, there's bomb club. Where's Jared Goff?
Jared Goff is just a mediocre quarterback. Like, to be honest, my parents went to Cal. I know the guy. I saw him play a bunch of games in college. I knew what Jared Goff was. I thought he got overdrafted. That was stupid to take. They were just freaking so desperate to get a quarterback that they traded. He was not worth the number one pick. It was. We all thought it was ludicrous at the time. It was just like, why? He's very talented. He put up the stats.
Yeah.
Because they went to kind of to go back. Cal went to this kind of air raid offense, and that totally inflates people's stats, right? Like,
definitely,
like just throwing bombs. So they're like, "Oh, his stats are great." It's like, dude, you gotta watch him. Like, you know what he had? He had the 6'4", 6'5" frame. He was tall. He has a big arm. He could throw deep. It's like it was like an old school thinking, and that's what they had when they did it, and it just fucked them. But a lot of teams thought he was going to be good. I thought he would be a very solid QB, like maybe around 10 to 12. But I never thought he was going to be a top 10 quarterback, like in the league. I never thought that. Ever.
And but they got to a Super Bowl with him, right? So it's just funny how you can get to the Super Bowl and then 2 years you're traded from a team. And I know the team was carried by their defense, but they had some high scoring games.
Well, people couldn't tackle Todd Gurley.
Definitely.
Todd Gurley
they're stacked.
Was a machine.
Todd Gurley was a boss. But
their O-line played great, too.
Which kind of proves my Jimmy G point more and more when I think about it.
You hate Jimmy G. It's so funny.
I don't hate Jimmy G, but I think...
Oh, you hate Jimmy G.
From a Niners perspective, if you're looking at what's going on down south...
You wanted Tommy Boy. It's cool.
Well, yeah, I want the quarterback that's in the Super Bowl. Yes, you're right.
That was well played. Well played. I would want Tom too.
I mean, we got injured, so it's kind of neither here nor there.
Yeah.
All right, so.
But to go on the Lions side, sorry. So we talked about the Rams side.
Yep.
The Lions. I think this is, damn, bro. This is great. I think they got so much. Like,
they might have a chance.
They can. It's perfect, man. The Lions management will probably screw it up again, because they're managed terribly.
They need new owners.
They the Rams' first round picks won't be that high, but I love 2 picks for Stafford. And then 2 seconds, and then what's great? They can use those picks to maybe trade up and get their quarterback in the future. And just throw Goff's ass out there and, just let him sit for 2 years behind Goff, 2-3 years, just be mediocre, build up the team, from the inside out, build up the lines, offense and defensive line, and just be mediocre with Goff and just let a good quarterback sit behind Goff for a while.
They got the draft picks and they got rid of Patricia. So that was 2 things that they needed to have done, and they checked both of them off their list. So we'll take a look at.
I have a question for you, a tangent, to go on Patricia. So you know how some people have said that a lot of the reason that Belichick disciples fail is because they command the distinction that Belichick gets when they walk in the door, like the immediate respect, and they try and take that like stern, like authoritative, militarian kind of vibe, like towards their team. Do you think Patricia did that and went in there and that's how he lost the Lions?
But yeah, there's no way that that's like not the case. Like that yeah. And I think it comes with winning Super Bowls and then, being on top of the world, thinking that you're the shit, and then going to the fucking Lions and thinking that you're the shit still and that you can do anything, and just having the wrong mindset and losing your fucking team.
You know what it's like? It's like, how good did he? I think he was just delusional. Like, Belichick is a defensive mind. How much are you really doing if you're defensive coordinator for Belichick? It's like, how much are you doing if you're the offensive coordinator for Andy Reid? How much are you actually doing, Like, you're probably not doing shit, Like,
no.
Like, yeah. I read a bunch of articles when they let go of Patricia that he lost the entire locker room after like a year. They all hated him.
And did you hear what Matt Stafford said prior to being traded to the Rams?
Oh, here we go.
He said, and I actually looked into this further, and I totally didn't know what it is, because I think Patricia went back to the Patriots, if I'm not mistaken.
Oh, I didn't know where he went. I didn't know that.
I think he's somewhere with the Patriots now. So.
Wow, back to the mothership.
Yeah, he didn't last too long out in college, so he had to come back home.
Had to go back to daddy.
But Matt Stafford said, I will accept any trade anywhere except New England. And that has to be a part of his rift with Patricia.
Yeah.
And, I mean,
that's saying something, right?
And that's
Send me to the Houston Texans, who are a bunch of racist assholes. Do that before going to New England, right? Like,
to be fair, they're depleted of any talent, but on the offensive side of the field as well,
that's
so
fair.
I get it.
That's
but yeah,
fair,
he could have said, don't trade me to. There's a number of different teams that he could have said, don't trade me to.
Yeah. Okay, to go back to Stafford, though. Okay, so, this new Rams team with Stafford at the helm. Over, under 11 wins.
I think you hit it on the money there. I think that's an 11-win team. I wouldn't take over or under. I would take exactly 11. I don't think they're winning 12 with the type of talent that's in their division that they have to play 6 times a year. It's really hard to win 12 games out of the West. The NFC West. That's the toughest division in the league.
So you really, most likely,
I would probably take 10.
In each, and that's what I was going to say. In each division, only 2 teams can win 10 or more games, right? You can't have 3 teams like that. So do you think they'll win the NFC West?
I don't know how they'll click. I know they have stars on defense. I know they have good offensive weapons. I don't think they're a team to sleep on.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know. I think 11 wins is a good ceiling for them. That would be my ceiling for them. I don't know if they'll accomplish that, but that's.
So you think they have a good chance of winning the NFC West then?
I think they have a good chance with the defense and the offensive weapons they have. They're pretty good at taking down Seattle, as we've seen over the years. And then I just don't know if the Cardinals, they really got to make some acquisitions over the summer to change my mind on them. Yeah. True. We know Seattle will hang out. Whether or not they make the playoffs or whether or not they're the top team in the NFC, that's completely up to how Russ plays, pretty much.
Yeah.
And then the Niners, man, that's.
Yeah, the Niners are. You can't really.
Any of those teams, it wouldn't shock me if they won the NFC. The Cardinals would shock me the most, just because I don't think they're the most complete out of the 4.
I think I would have if I had to choose now, I would choose and they have to do all the signings. I would probably I'd probably have the Rams at my highest odds of winning the whole division, to be honest with you. I think the Niners are going to lose some players. I really do think that Saleh is going to poach some of the Niners players. I think he's Verrett. I think the Niners can't pay Kerry Hyder. They're going to lose those guys. I mean, they're getting Bosa back, obviously, which is just obviously that's insane. He's top 3 defensive players in the league. But I just think they're losing another corner. Like, their secondary, man, is so shot. And with Jimmy's problem with turning over the ball, like, it's just if I had to choose right now, I would have the Rams and then the Niners and then Seattle and then the Cardinals. But a lot can happen. Like, all the free agent signings and, got to see the Jimmy Garoppolo is going to be the quarterback, I think, when the season starts.
I mean, if I'm a betting man, I would say it's probably about a 65 to 70% chance. But,
I'd say like a 75%.
But what I'm hearing out of Texas is Deshaun might not even play this season. He wants out of Houston that bad. He's literally
it's because they said they weren't going to trade him.
So he's just going to go. It's just going to be an escalating game.
They're playing chicken. No, they're playing chicken right now.
But it's not great news if you're a Houston Texans fan, because that means that the market for Deshaun Watson, it's like, oh, your quarterback doesn't even want to play for you. I'll wait.
Oh, yeah, no, the markets.
You guys can play with your backup.
Yeah.
Have fun. Your quarterback doesn't want to play for you. And if the Texans want to literally wait him out of his entire contract, fine. You guys are going to lose all those games anyways. You might as well get something for him.
Yeah.
If they're that petty, it wouldn't surprise me.
I mean, the Florio's investigation into Easterby and like how that team is run and how it's like, do you remember that Jack Easterby, that whole story about the guy? Right. The general, is he the general manager? He's Florio had an article about him, and they don't know how he got his current job. Like, he was with the Jaguars, but he's never he's known people. That's how he's weaseled his way to the top. He's like one of the executives or something in the Texans organization, and he has the ear of the owner, and that's why all of this is happening supposedly. But where was I going with that point? Shit. I was, what were we just talking about? It was, Florio. Oh yeah. You were saying about, who's gonna cave first. I think it's gonna be the Texans. I think the Texans will cave first. They're gonna want to get this over with.
Yeah, if they want any chance of having a decent team in the future. If your quarterback says he's not going to play for you and he's serious about it, that literally tells every franchise in the league that they're fucked and that they need to make a trade because their quarterback's not going to play. So you might as well get something for it.
Yeah, true.
I mean, that's just my opinion. We don't know how it's going to work out.
Yeah, it's just whoever caves first. They're just playing chicken, so.
Then the Aaron Rodgers rumors are kind of, to me, they just seem like headlines. It seems like it's the week leading up to the Super Bowl. There's not really a lot to talk about. You can only talk about the Super Bowl matchup so much. You got to talk about something else in the NFL world.
Oh yeah, no, you can't. You can't just talk about.
You don't have
the
multiple
Super Bowl
matchups.
over and over. Yeah. Yeah, definitely.
It's the wait. And we're going to be getting into the Super Bowl on Friday, 5 p.m. again, Pacific time. If you guys want to join us and listen to our thoughts on the big game. And, yeah.
Tom and number 10.
We'll have some betting advice on that regard as well.
Ooh, stoked.
We can get a little bit more out of this Matt Stafford talk and ramble on about different stuff. And then it sounds like that's going to be the end of the show.
Yeah, so last thoughts on Stafford. Did I see that? Did the Rams get Marvin Jones too?
I didn't. If you can fact check that,
you know Marvin Jones, obviously, right?
Yeah, wide receiver. I
love Marvin.
If they got Marvin Jones, that's not a bad trade.
Well, to add the Cup. And
Robert Woods is no slouch.
That's a deep receiving core.
What
and they
about
already
Higbee?
had
Higbee.
Man. Higbee's like the definition of 5-yard touchdown. That's what he is. He doesn't get any yards. He's just like block. Oh, 5-yard touchdown.
Definitely.
I love. Yeah, he's a TD vulture. That's what he is. We're doing fantasy terms. Yeah. Marvin Jones, Lions. Hold on, let me Rams. I thought I read something about that. Okay,
he's a chip off the old Benjamin Watson.
He appears to be interested. So Marvin Jones was on the Lions. I would love that acquisition, and he already has a ton of chemistry with Stafford. But
I think Cardinals Nation should go after Marvin Jones and pair him with DeAndre Hopkins because they need a number 2 guy.
They need a second receiver. Kirk's not it.
You can't just force feed DeAndre Hopkins because they figured it out. 7 weeks into the season, that was a way to go. You can just have Kyler do his thing and DeAndre Hopkins just streak down the field. And I know Cardinals Nation knows they need another number 2, but I think Marvin Jones would be a good option for them.
I mean, to give it credit, it does work a lot. It's just like you need when the games matter more. Like earlier in the season, I remember was it the Niners Cardinals? Was that the first or second? I don't know. Was it the first or second game?
That was week 1.
Kittle got hurt. Yeah, but do you remember? And DeAndre had just joined the team. Do you remember down the stretch? They just kept feeding him over and over.
He got 130 yards.
And he had 15 or 16 catches? It was insane.
I don't know.
Jump balls. Just throw jump balls to him, man.
Yeah, man.
I think the Stafford Rams, it really depends. I do think that it's a significant upgrade over Jared Goff. I would have the Rams as my favorite just because I don't know about Jimmy Garoppolo. The Niners are the only kryptonite for the Rams, and the Rams beat the shit out of the Seahawks. The Rams have the Seahawks number. And I think the Cardinals are just they're still a year away. I still think one more full draft and they'll get a whole nother set of guys.
Who, the
Rams? They really need a receiver. The Cardinals.
Okay, because I was going to say, what draft picks do the Rams have?
Yeah, no, I'm tired right now. The Cardinals are still a year away. But I would have the Rams number 1, Niners, Seahawks, Cardinals.
Definitely.
Yeah, I am very intrigued on how Stafford's going to play with an actual good offensive line and at least 2 solid receivers. He never has 2 good receivers at once, I mean, to this caliber. I mean, he has Golladay and Jones, but I would put Kupp and, Woods ahead of those 2, as a combination.
We got a viewer in the chat. Henry Reed asks, the real question is, when can I go to a fucking game again? And he's right, man. When are we going to be able to go to Levi's? Not that we would go there a lot due to the
not that we go there
prices.
A lot because it's overpriced and that tram is horrible, right?
But when do you think we're going to be able to go to a game again?
I think next year.
Yeah.
I think next year. I think it'll start up next year. I mean, the basketball. I just saw that the Suns are allowing fans in again. It's just one at a time. They're just trickling. They're all starting to do it.
Did you hear about the altercation that got into LeBron and
that chick?
The chick on the sideline?
Man.
That was fucking hilarious.
Did you hear what he said?
I didn't hear what he said, but I heard what LeBron... Wait, are you talking about what LeBron said?
His statement. No, his statement.
Wait, are you talking about the guy on the sideline or LeBron?
LeBron.
Yeah, he called him a ranky ass, steroid. Fucking...
No. He's like, I thought she thought that he said something to her husband, but he's like, man, that dude was so old. I thought that was her father. I thought he was with her father.
He fucking burned him. I got some respect for LeBron after that.
Oh man, that was hilarious. What is that chick doing, man? Oh man. And then her social media was blowing up today, and it was just
she was the definition of a Karen. So I'm glad.
Dude, she's gonna not to get too into this, but with all that plastic surgery up north, she's gonna have some back problems.
You know, she was like 20. I think she was 25, and then the husband.
No way.
Yeah,
she's not 25.
She was 25, and the husband, the sugar daddy, was definitely like north of 55. I would say maybe 60, and the dude looked like he was like literally like a walking steroid commercial.
Do you just know this by looking at her?
No, so I went into the breakdown from a YouTuber named John Boy Media, and he does a really good job of breaking shit down. You should definitely check him out.
Did he look up her age though? I'm just curious.
Dude, he did a lot.
She looked like early 30s with like at least 4 or 5 plastic surgery jobs. She did not look 25.
Well, if you looked at the husband, like she doesn't get great influence there. That guy's like literally a walking steroid commercial. So I'm sure they do lots of things they shouldn't and yield, you know.
She is yet to do the Kim Kardashian ass though. That is the one thing she was missing.
Yeah, well, we didn't get to see that.
A lot of social media, no, but they were ripping her apart. They're like, pancake ass.
What a burn.
Don't want to get too into that, but she was getting killed on social media.
Honestly, you love to see LeBron like step out of character, and we're so used to seeing him in commercials and interviews and on TV, and like he's always very well conducted and whining about calls. I like seeing him be a savage. I like seeing him get angry. You know, as a fan, that's what I want. I want to see that. I want to see him be real out there.
I don't like him.
He didn't get to where he was being a bitch. You know, he had to have at least had a backbone.
Nah, man, he's from the bad side of Akron, bro. No way, man. He grew up tough, man, in the projects. Come on. I don't like how the only thing I've come to respect LeBron as I've gotten older. Because we're gonna miss him when he's gone. Like he's won in over $1 billion. Like it's insane. Like
I say the same thing about Tom. I think there's a lot of comparisons. Between the two.
But it's just like, man, we're never gonna see another. Maybe we'll see another LeBron. Maybe one more in the next 40 years or something. Like
it ain't Zion.
No. LeBron's 6'8", 6'9", 240, runs like a gazelle. Oh man!
The second he came into the league, it was that. It was.
Oh yeah.
He was just one of the best players from the get go.
Yeah, got to give LeBron his props.
His due regard or his due credit.
Even though the Orlando ring was what do you like to call it again? What is the name of the Orlando ring?
The Orlando ring. Oh, the Mickey Mouse ring. So
yes, sir.
Well, it was at the Disney headquarters. So, you got to call it you got to call it correctly, man. It's the Mickey Mouse ring.
Oh, the Mickey Mouse ring.
Mickey Mouse.
Sorry.
Hey, so another question out of Henry: what's the dirtiest sport besides cycling? I'll let you take that one.
Dirtiest besides cycling. What does he mean? Like,
well, he's talking about so cyclists, they're doing doping, they're icing their blood, right, and then they're doing steroids. He's talking about what is the
steroids?
The most? No, he's saying the dirtiest sport. Like, what is the most? I'm assuming the most cheated sport, aside from cycling being the first one, right? And that's tough to say.
I don't know.
My gut would say baseball.
I mean, the thing about baseball is they've been all cheating for 150 years.
But that's what I mean. It's a part of the culture.
They know, I know, and they know where the line is. Like they know what won't come up, in their drug test.
The cameras around the stadium to figure out signs. Everybody kind of knows about that. That's old news.
You gonna bring up the Hall of Fame at all?
I guess we could segue into the Hall of Fame because
just quickly, we could talk about it quickly.
I mean, it kind of just came out.
It just came up, man. Wow, Henry, respect. He brought it up. It came out
great questions, Henry.
So, do you think that Bonds or Clemens? So it's their last year on the ballot next year. So this was year 9. They didn't get in. Bonds only got 60% or 61%. They need 75.
And to preface this, yeah, they need 75%.
They need 75. We're not going to talk about the Schilling thing.
These players have been on the fucking ballot for how many years? Almost 10 years, right? 9 years.
9 years.
On your 10th
You're only
year,
on the ballot for 10 years. How stupid is that?
10th year, you're done. After that, you can't. You don't get looked at anymore. You can't make the Hall of Fame.
You can't go to the Hall of Fame.
And the Hall of Fame voting is put
of old sports writers.
Put on by the old sports writers who didn't really get along with some of these guys. And that was pretty obvious.
McGuire, Sosa, Barry, Clemens were all dicks to these sports writers who now have control of whether they get to go into the Hall of Fame or not.
And then how do you justify, okay, so I get it, if just one of these guys is juicing.
Yeah.
If literally only one guy's juicing and he's got these crazy high stats that no one else has, and it's just like literally just the most like obvious one guy is doing it, the rest of the league isn't. Yeah, just one guy, yeah. But that's not the case.
It was a generation of players that were all roided up.
I would go as far to say 80% of the league was doing it.
Oh, yeah.
And that's like generous, right? I feel like you could make an argument that it was
the 90s were, man, they were the Wild West, man. They were all shooting up.
So everybody's doing steroids, everybody's shooting up. So that means the pitchers are throwing hard and the hitters are hitting it fucking far.
And it saved baseball. Baseball was like kind of boring, you know, it was rough. 80s were kind of rough. Baseball got more interesting in the 90s, you know? Like the home run races, you know, started bringing fans back to the ballparks. You know,
and I would say that these years that MLB kind of tries to put in the shadows, I feel like those years birthed a lot of dedicated baseball fans for the most part. Like me and you, for example, came out of these years where we get to see these guys hit 40, 50 home runs, you know, and just completely rake.
And they're saying that, you know, they're not letting in like the best one. I mean, Griffey's the only one that like supposedly didn't shoot up. I don't think he shot up, but they're basically saying what we watched was just BS, you know, if they don't let those guys in. That's how I see it, you know.
Yeah.
Steroids, it's a fact. Steroids do not help with hand-eye coordination.
No.
That's not and what is baseball? It's hand-eye coordination. The ball goes further, yes. Don't get me wrong. It probably 30 feet or something, like crazy.
You could take away maybe, 150 home runs, whatever.
It doesn't help hand-eye coordination.
But the thing is, where Bonds was hitting those fucking home runs.
Yeah.
He was hitting it where the grown men hit it.
You know, we're Giants fans, you know.
If you can't tell by the Bay sign behind him.
Bay.
I also have a Steph Curry thing up there, so yes.
But we're it's rough watching Bonds our entire childhoods, and then him getting. I mean, he was a dick. He was a total dick. I've seen interview videos of him, but man, he was a Hall of Famer before he shot up. You know.
Yeah.
So, but it is what it is. I don't know if they'll. Do you think they're going to get in? Let's take out McGuire and Sosa because they're too far behind. But so Clemens and Bonds both have about 60%. Do you think? And they're both in year 9. So next year they're not in.
They need a 15% jump, which is a prayer, considering the percentage they've climbed in the last 5 years.
I feel like
that's a fucking prayer.
I feel like unless there's like a meeting between the sports writers and they talk, because I don't know, it's kind of a big deal with those two. Like Clemens was a Hall of Famer before he started roiding up.
Rocket?
He was too. Like I almost think they need to convene and like talk about it. But who knows? Baseball's fucked up. So
Manfred needs to step in, man.
Manfred's a bitch. Let's be straight.
Yeah.
Let's be straight here.
Definitely.
He has handled it. I mean, Not that Silver's the only really, and he's had some flaws. The only decent commish in the three major sports. I mean, NHL's pretty good too, though. But
so the MLB quickly is set to come back, and it's going to have a 154 game season as opposed to 162, right? Which is what we've seen for the most part.
Sorry to cut you off. Did the Players Association agree to that? Because I know they shot down the first deal.
Yes.
Is there going to be an international DH?
I can't comment on that.
Okay. I know they were trying to get that in too. The NL, they were asking the players if the NL should have the DH too, and for try it out this season.
Yeah, and I like them experimenting and trying to figure out what works and what doesn't. I like the 60-game season personally. I thought it was fun. I thought it was volatile.
It was a race. It was a sprint. I loved it. It was good.
Great. It was great.
It was good. It was a little too fast for baseball. Baseball is not, but it was cool to experience.
I think 120 games.
Yeah,
we'll see. They've lowered it.
It was like, you know what it felt like? It had like a March Madness vibe. Like that 60, like it was like March Madness. Like that's how I felt.
I dig that too. Like, yeah, that's just like the chaos.
It felt like March Madness. It's like fuck. So
it's like, damn, are the Marlins gonna make the playoffs here?
Yeah, that was wild. When they were
the Giants almost made it. They were like 2 or 3 games away from the end of the season.
It's like, oh, they're 15 games in. Oh yeah, they're a quarter of the way through the season. Oh shit. Oh shit.
I know.
Oh, that was wild. That was wild. Man, one thing I gotta say, man, the Padres-Dodgers games, shit. I'm gonna tune in for those. And I love the Padres. I'm not obviously a big Dodgers fan, but I respect the Dodgers. Got a lot of talent. I love Mookie Betts. He's awesome. Those games are gonna be fucking insane.
Definitely.
That's going to be like 2 heavyweight prize fighters just going at it. They're both so stacked.
And the pitcher that the Padres got, don't sleep on the reason why they got him. The dude literally was going like I think 8 innings strong, 7 innings strong, like one hit ball. Like Blake Snell, he was destroying the Dodgers in the biggest game of his fucking life. Yep. That guy can take care of them pretty handedly. And I know he's got a chip on his shoulder.
They got that reliever, too, that solid reliever. They picked up another guy. They traded for him. Starts with an M. I can't think of his name.
And offensively, obviously, they're fucking...
Oh, they rake. Tatis Jr.'s, man, he's drips and swag.
You talking about the cover?
Dude, he's raw.
The cover of the show?
He's great. Is he? I didn't know that.
Yes, indeed.
Damn, wow. I can't find it right now. Whatever. They traded for another guy, another reliever. I can't find it right now. But they're both... It's an arms race. It's been an arms race. I'm stoked for those games. They're going to be awesome.
Well, I am too, and we'll see how that goes. So...
yes, sir.
Thank you guys for tuning in to this week's episode. Or this second episode, not this week's episode. We'll have one more on Friday, 5 p.m.
Yeah, we'll talk about the Super Bowl.
Yeah, big Super Bowl talk. Maybe a little NBA in there. And some recapping. Maybe some NHL. We'll see.
Yeah, we'll see. See the flow.
Thanks.
Nice with the middle of the face.
Thanks for pulling up, guys. And take it easy.
Yeah, thanks, guys. Peace.
What are you really standing for? So it's like, man, these guys running around just doing anything to just make a buck.
When did you start realizing that, AB, and paying attention to that?
Older you get, it's just like, yo,